right. The hardest part of solving equations. This is as hard as it's going to get. So if you've been doing okay so far, awesome. This is the last stretch, right? Now I've actually set aside 2 days for solving equations with variables on both sides, just so you can get the practice. Keep in mind, you're going to practice, you're going to have an assignment today. Tomorrow, you're going to have some practice during class, or the next day that you do work on this, you're going to have some practice during class, but you are also going to have a take home quiz. Now, rules about take home quizzes, you do have to bring it back the very next day. So, say you get it on a Thursday, you need to bring it back on Friday. If you get it on Friday, it needs to come back on Monday. Um, Absolutely no exceptions. You don't bring it back, then you go ahead and get a zero. Um, Very, very important for you guys, especially since this is, and I'll say it a bunch of times, you are in a high school level course. So you need to learn how to be responsible and take care of business. Okay. So equations with variables on both sides. In the, uh, well, I closed that part out. So going back over to the solving equations flowchart, this is the one that uses every single one of those steps, okay? It's going to use all steps, including that question 3. Let me just pull it up. But in the meantime, while that's pulling up, here it is. This will be page 16 in your notes. Okay, I went ahead and pulled this flowchart back up for you guys. Shouldn't be too far behind on the, you shouldn't have to dig too far in your notes to find it. But anyway, so steps to solve. Honestly, the steps are all right here. Distribute, combine like terms, move the variable, move the constant, divide, right? But in question form to make it a little bit easier for you guys. Right there. Okay, so first step is going to be to distribute if necessary. When do we distribute? We distribute when we see parentheses. We distribute when we see parentheses. What does it mean to distribute? It means to multiply. So combine like terms. We combine like terms when there's too many terms. More than 2 is too many, okay? 3, 4, 5, that's too many terms. Now, because we are adding question 3 in here, we're going to be grouping our variables on one side of the equation. Now you're going to be seeing letters on both sides of the equal sign. And we're going to do that by going from the small x to the large x, small x to the large x. Okay, small number to the large number. You're going to group your constants. And then you're going to solve your equation. Now it says refer to your solving equations flowchart if you ever get confused, okay? So let's start here. Number 1. Now, unfortunately, the left and right system does not work whenever you have x's on both sides. So we're actually going to stop writing that part. And I almost started. So anyway, let's start. Question 1, do you have parentheses? The answer is no. So do we have more than 3 terms on each side? We have 1, 2, 1, 2. So once again, answer is no to that. Let's go back over. Do you have letters on both sides of the equation? I have a letter on the left. I have a letter on the right side. So the answer to that is yes. In this case, we're going to move the small letter to the large letter. When deciding between 11x and negative 7x, the negative, between a positive and a negative, the negative is going to be the smallest one. So that means I'm going to move this negative 7x to this side. Now, we are going to cross over the line, okay? And it says it here, yes, you will have to change from plus to minus, minus to plus. So we have a minus, changing it to a plus 7x. And we complete and clean up the step, okay? 11 plus 7x, 18x, anything not used comes straight down. These zero out, bring down the 64. Moving on to question 4, is there a constant? Yes, so we're going to move the constant between 18 and, between 18 and 8. 8 is the constant, minus changes to plus. (64 plus 8, 72. And the last step. Do we have a variable in front of the coefficient? Do we have a coefficient? Does the variable have a coefficient? Yes. We're going to divide. Sorry, it's been a long day of making these videos. This is the last one I'm going to make for the day. So we get x equals 4. 72 divided by 18 is 4. Okay. Starting off slow, no parentheses. We're going to, since there are no parentheses in this next one, we're going to take the same approach. No parentheses. So the next step, check to see if we have 3 or more. We don't. So we go here. What do? Small to large. Now, both of these are negative, so it really doesn't matter which one you move. I'm actually going to move this negative 17 because it'll actually end up turning this number positive. Okay. Or let's just go with this. No, yeah, let's just go with the smaller number. When they're both the same sign, go with the smaller number. So we're just going to do the 13 plus 13p. I think that's how most students would want to do it. Negative 17 plus 13 will give us a negative 4. Bring down minus 5. Is there a constant? Question 4, yes. So we change it from minus to plus. 19 plus 5 is 24. Bring down the negative 4. And the last step, as always, is to divide. Don't forget, when you divide, do not change plus to minus, minus to plus. So 24 divided by negative 4, negative 6. All right, slightly different steps. Why do we see slightly different steps on this one? Because we do have parentheses. Okay, so when we start, do we have parentheses? Yes. What do? Distribute. Anytime you see parentheses, you distribute. What does it mean to distribute? Multiply. I'm not doing anything here with this left side, so I'm going to bring that down. 5 times 2x, 10x. 5 times negative 3, negative 15. Do you have more than 3 or more? No. Do you have variables on both sides? Yes. So we got to move small to large. In this case, my negative 2. So minus changes to plus. That cancels out. 10 plus 2 is 12. Minus 15 comes down. From there, do we have a constant? Yes. So that goes minus to plus as well. 9 plus 15, 24. 12x comes down. And the last step is to divide. 24 divided by 12. Hopefully you know that without the calculator is 2. All right, next one. Looks like I forgot to put in that second parentheses over here. So go ahead and fill that in. First step, if we see parentheses, we distribute. Now, in this case, we're going to distribute on both sides of the equation because both sides have parentheses. 5 times k, 5k. 5 times 14, 70. 1/5 times 20. Type it in. Remember to use alpha x. 4k. And then 1/5 times -80, -16. Now, we don't have 3 or more terms, so we skip on down to question 3. We have variables on both sides. When we have variables on both sides, we do small to large. Now, our smallest number is positive, so we change it to minus. Plus changes to minus. And make sure you're writing the k under the k. I've seen some people try to put it here, and they end up combining it with the wrong number, okay? 5 minus 4, 1k. Bring down your 70, and you're minus 16. Do we have a constant? Yes. When we have a constant, plus changes to minus. -16 minus 70. This is an addition or subtraction rule. They're both the same sign. And add. Add and keep. 86. Now, just for your own peace of mind, you technically do not have to divide the 1, but for my own peace of mind, I'm going to divide the 1. Make sure I followed all the way through. So k is equal to -86. Dividing by 1 did not change my outcome in any way. Okay. Number 5. We're getting into some bigger ones, and I think we're actually going to use all 5 steps this time. Here we go. Change color. Big day. All right. Question 1. Do we have parentheses? Yes. So what are we going to do? We have to distribute. Remember, when you distribute, you only multiply the number that is directly in front of the parentheses with what's inside. You don't multiply it by what is outside the parentheses. I'm not doing anything with the 2. -8 times 0.2 is -1.6h. -8 times, remember it is times, not times plus. -8 times -1 is +8. Didn't do anything with this side, so we're just going to bring that down. Okay. Next, do we have 3 or more terms on each side? The answer is yes, because we have 3 terms here on the left side. So because we do, circles and boxes. Okay, and I'm going to skip the whole shifting the numbers around. We know that 1.6 is by itself, so I'm going to bring that down. But 2 plus 8 is 10. Okay, moving on. Do we have letters on both sides? Yes. So what do? Small to large. Between these two, the 1.6 would be smaller, so a minus changes to plus. (3.5) plus 1.6 gives us 5.1h. Bring down the minus 2.75. Now, is there a constant? Yes, so we move the constant. (10 plus 2.75, 12.75. That cancels out. And the last step is to divide by 5.1. So what do we get for H? 12.75 divided by 5.1 is 2.5. And that is using every single step in the flow chart. Whew, that is as long as it gets. That is as hard, as difficult as it gets to solve when it comes to solving equations in algebra. Okay. Next. All right, first step, we distribute. In the left side, we're going to distribute a -1. So -1 times 8, -8. -1 times 2, +2. Okay. -2 times, we're not doing anything with that 8. -2 times 12, -24. -2 times -3, two negatives make a positive. Okay. Do we have 3 or more terms? Yes, we have 3 terms on the right side. So circles and boxes. Circle, circle, box. Not going to do anything with this side, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it down. 8 minus 24 in that order. Oh, yay. We get to update the calculator again. Sorry, guys. Well, 8 minus 24 anyway is what? -16. Bring down 6n. Okay. Do we have variables on both sides? Yes. So what do we do? Small to large. Smallest number is 2. Plus changes to minus. Make sure you line up the n with the n, not with the 16. Bring down -16. 6 minus 2 is 4. Do we have a constant? Yes, between 16 and 4, 16 is the constant. 16 already has a minus sign, so we change that to a plus. -8 plus 16, still +8. And the last step, divide by 4. So we get n equals 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay. Over to the back. We have different types of solutions. I'm going to maximize this. We have different types of solutions. There are names for specific types of answers. But before we get into that, it says, solve each of the following equations. What do you notice in each equation after solving? Compare both answers, compare both solutions. Okay, well, let's try this. Starting here, I'm going to multiply. That's not cool. Why did it give me that ugly scribble? All right, 4 times 2x, 8x. 4 times -4, -16. Bring down the other side. Do we have 3 or more terms? No, there's 2 terms on each side. So we do what? Small to large, okay? Well, both of them are the same size, so I guess it really doesn't matter which one I move. 8 minus 8 is 0. Bring down the -16. 8 minus 8 is 0. Bring down the 3. Is 16 equal to a 3? No, so that's false. I don't like when it does that. I feel like I have to pick up my pen a whole inch before I can write. Well, let's see what happens with the other one. Start by distributing. since we're not doing anything to the left side. Negative 2 times 5, negative 10. Negative 2 times negative 8, positive 16. We do not have 3 or more terms on each side. We only have 2 on the left, 2 on the right. So we go into what? Small to large. Well, once again, they're the same size, so it doesn't matter which one we move. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0, bring down the 16. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0, bring down the 16. This time, is 16 equal to 16? Yeah. So you get a true statement. Well, with one of them, you can't solve. The other one, you get the same number. There are special names for these, okay? Special names for these types of equations. One solution. Starting with one solution. One solution is going to be whenever you have only one value that makes your equation true, which is your typical one, like these, where you get x equals 4, negative 6 is p, x equals 2, n is equal to 2, h is when you have only one answer that you can plug back into the equation. That is one solution, okay? That is what we get 90% of the time. We start by distributing. So negative 1 times 14, negative 14. Negative 1 times negative 9, positive 9. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times 5, 20. We go small to large, so the plus 8 changes to a minus 8. And negative 14 comes down. 9 minus 8 is 1. Constant. Minus 14 changes to plus. +20 plus 14, 34. For our own peace of mind, we divide by 1. So you get C is equal to 34. When you get a 1 number answer, that's how you know there is one solution. What is... Okay, next. Come on. Don't wait until now to start glitching. Okay, no solution. When there is no values, there are no numbers that you can plug in. There's no numbers that you can plug in to make the equation true. When do we see this? Let's see. Distribute always comes first. Negative 0.75 times 12. Negative 9x. Negative 0.75 times 60. 45. Everything else comes down. The next question will ask, do you have 3 or more terms? In this case, yeah, we have 3 terms on the right side. So we do our boxes and our circles. Box, box, circle. This comes down again. Oops. 45. Negative 1 minus 8. They're both negative, so what do? Add and keep. Negative 9x minus 15. Now we have letters on both sides, so what must we do? Small to large. They're both the same size. Doesn't matter which one we move. 0, bring down the negative 45. 0, bring down the negative 15. Now, because 45 is not equal to negative 15. We get a false statement, and it actually looks like the word false. That is what you call no solution. So your actual answer is no solution. The words, no solution. There is no number that I can plug into this equation right here to make it true. There is absolutely no number in the world that I can plug in here and it give me a one-digit answer. Okay. And last, we have infinite solutions. I don't know what color I used. Infinite solution, meaning any real value will make the equation true. Any real value will make the equation true. What does this look like? We distribute first. Negative 0.5 times 10, negative 5x. Negative 0.5 times 4 times negative 4. Two negatives make a positive. Now we have three terms on the left, three terms on the right. That means we have to combine something on both sides. Excuse me. So circle box, circle. Two circles, one box. I'm going to bring down my box. 7 plus 2 is 9. Circle, box, circle again. Cool. Bring down my negative 5. 3 plus 6 is 9. Some people from this step will notice we have the exact same thing written on both sides. But if you don't, that's fine. Let's keep going. Small to large. And we get 9 equals 9, which is a true statement. True statement. The number 9 is equal to the number 9. So this is also known as all real numbers. Oops. That is a valid answer. All real numbers. All real numbers would be the actual solution to this problem. Now, another way that you can write all real numbers, let me just write it this way. Obviously, you would put the word instead of the little hashtag thing. Another way to write all real numbers is with this symbol. It's the symbol R, but notice how you have like a double line here in the front. Okay. So once again, you're going to practice today, but because this does take some practice, you're going to practice the same thing, exact same thing tomorrow. So if you need to watch the video again tomorrow before you practice, that works as well. And you'll have a take-home quiz afterwards. Okay. But let me end this video if it lets me.